Okay, my second video today. So, kind of sniffing a little bit. I just finished my walk that my psychic, neuro-linguistic programmer, nutritionist recommended the two things she told me to do, which was meditate for half an hour and walk for half an hour. Well, it's snowed where I live yesterday, and I decided to take my walk in the evening to see how the cold exhilarated me. It was pretty amazing. I walked all the way down to my spring with a jar of amino acids in it, dry. Went down there, shook it up, gave it a drank about 2 or 3 glasses, walked all the way back. Oh, I'm 1 week into this whole new routine I'm doing. I'm eating some cooked food. I've gotten some interesting responses from a lot of people. I think a lot of the raw vegan, one-minded people have sort of drifted away. The way that YouTube has changed allows you to see a lot of statistics. I noticed that over the last 30 some days I have gotten 41 subscriptions and 36 unsubscribe, which is, I'm certainly not trying to attract an audience, just doing a little blog here for my own use and for anybody else that feels like tagging along. So couple of things. I did get a comment from a vegan on my last post and asked me why am I blaming the diet or whatever, and I just want to emphasize again, I have just drifted out of this. Been a vegan all my adult life. I'm 48 and a half, and these people that just sort of get on this, and I always see the same age with this, because whenever I get sort of comments that are like, why you should do this, not that I have a problem with negative comments. I go over to their site and I always see the same thing. Somewhere between the age of 19 and 32, roughly. That's like 97% of the people that are on this sort of vegan obsessive trip. And it's like, I'm just saying, I'm doing this to survive, to see what happens, because like I said, when I listened to all the symptoms, when I heard this interview with Sally Fallon, with Kevin Gianni, which will be 2 years ago this January, I recognize I have every one of those symptoms. So I played around with it, and anyways, this is where I'm at, and I'm like, I feel like I'm bouncing back. I look better. People are telling me I look better, so people, 5 years of being vegan, 5 years is not a long time. Does not equate to a sustainable diet at all. I mean, if you've been doing it 5 years, you have no business being this sort of staunch advocate of veganism, unless you're in there for the ethical reason. There's a whole side to that I see that I respect. So anyways, don't want to go off on that too much. I want to comment on another person asked me what I meditate on because I seem restless. Well, I am a crazy, mad, motherfucking artist person, and people used to say that to me when I was a kid. Like, why do you blah, blah, blah. And it was when I was actually doing this, I'd heard it before, but the people who really brought it into light with me is the people that are making this documentary. It was the cameraman and Nicole, and they've worked around a lot of creative people, and they kept trying to take shots of my hands and everything, and it's expression. People who need to express, as I do, obviously want to do it with their hands and their gestures and all this kind of stuff, so can't help it. Some days I just came out of a meditation, it's like, whatever, I don't want to sit there and comment on people about stuff. So what am I eating? My second meal of the day, which is very unusual, doing this 1 meal a day thing for the longest time, and now I'm eating 2 meals a day. That's what my psychic told me when I told her I don't eat breakfast. She just jumped out of her seat. She's no. I don't feel filled up. I'm not gaining weight. In fact, if anything, I look better. My colonic therapist, as I said, was everything's better. I got here yams. What are these things called? Brussels sprouts and some flounder. And yams and Brussels sprouts are specifically two things that she told me to eat. Yams, I started having a slight infatuation with over the summer. I usually make them in my cultured veggies, the yams, shred them, and they're great when you culture them. And I was like sitting there on a pot binge back in July or something, and I thought, whoa, those yams there, they look good. I think I would like to cook them up. And I sort of fell in love with cooked yams. I also heard on NPR a couple of times it talked about yams is actually one of the most nutritional vegetables out there. Super high in beta carotene, obviously with its orange color. And then the other thing I have on here is some flounder. It's pretty bland. You know, the meal I'm gonna. Oh, and I got a bunch of ghee. I got my order from iHerb today, and so I'm gonna put a bunch of ghee on there too. And this is the ghee that iHerb has, and this is pastured ghee. And I know there's two other brands you all have been mentioning. There's the one Ancient Organics and Indian something. A couple people mentioned it, Vitamixing and other people. And I've heard of all those. They seem really pricey to me, and I don't think that from a normal place this one would be that much cheaper. It's just that iHerb has this one, and iHerb is just like the best with discounts, up to 40, sometimes 45% off with stuff. So it's Purity Farms ghee, and it does say pastured in there. And you can get this one off of iHerb. This jar is like, I think it's like $8. It's 13 ounces. Gonna put a bunch of that on there, and I'm gonna eat dinner. And I just discovered this lovely video on Inside LSD on YouTube, which I'm gonna watch while I eat. I definitely, and drugs, as I've told you, have been a good thing for me. Sorry if you don't like that. Too bad. Didn't have a bad experience. Never had a bad experience with it at all. Been all positive. Now, I can't say that about everybody I know. But anyways, music. Song called Polaridad. It's in Spanish. It's by Omar Rodriguez-Lopez. Y'all know I've been a huge fan of Mars Volta. Talked about him last year. I'm not so much into that hard rock sound anymore these days. Right now, I won't last very long because I always change my taste. This is one of his solo albums, and it's one of his only solo albums that has no guitar in it. Synthesizer album. The album's called Tychrozente. Featured his girlfriend on it, singing. Ximena is her name, spelled with an X at the beginning. I believe that's how you say it. She's a pop star in Mexico. She just recently released an English album here. So anyways, the song, and I love the video. Love this video a lot. Love this song. Polaridad by Omar Rodriguez-Lopez, guitar player for Mars Volta, from his album Tychrozente. All right, then.